the Versus series. Welcome to the Versus series, the ultimate stage where wisdom and passion meet on every page. The Craig Law Firm, them brothers are the architects of the dream. Big love to Miss Barbara, a cornerstone supporter. That girl loyal through and through. Props to GT and Nobody, friends who stayed near when others fell silent. They echo cheer. And Miss Africa, reigning, defending, world champion, supreme. Crafting great arguments, he's this promoter's dream. Dr. Too Sweet, sharp, eloquent, wise, a queen of debate. That sister got fire in her eyes. Man, that dude Michael Everett, he keep it steady and cool. While Takari be declaring flat earth is the rule. Gabriel dives deep, exploring the Bible's defining arc. A1, the Bible breaker, tears the scriptures apart. Lord Benu, the people's champ, always rises, reborn from the flame. And the phenom Neo Love stands firm, defending Jesus' name. K, Captain K, the Israelite, proud and bold, bridging ancient truths to the modern moment. James Cassell bridges the present with ancient truths that transcend. The fit barber trims out the white lies, leaving the black truth beaming with pride. Naga makes their opponents tremble with fear. More promotion for DMG to stir. Vocab Malone rhymes reason with faith. Anonymous Hebrew stays ready to debate. LP cuts short, don't test his faith. Cedric Ortega brings thoughts unconfined. He debates to open our mind. From racism, sexism, and systematic despair to sentient aliens and the truth they might share. Religion and politics fuel these fact fights. Each topic is ablaze under the spotlight's bright light. Shout out to Sarnetta and the HOK for blazing the trail for what we do today. The Lion Den thrives as JJ roars. Elder Yara builds us up, helps us restore. All comers are welcome to step in the ring in the Versus series where sharp minds battle to be the king or the queen. The bold and the fearless all play a role. So join the debate. Let your ideology be known. The Versus series is where legends are made.
Grace and peace be with all of y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and mute this laptop because I'm having audio issues. But hopefully y'all can actually hear me through my phone because I'm actually doing the show through the phone this time. So hey, y'all heard what my man DMG said. If you got something on your mind and you think you can hold up to the scrutiny, step on up to the debate league. You know what I'm saying? Holla at your boy. We get you in there. In any case, today is going to be another one of my favorite type of shows. It's more like an open open discussion, but in relevance to current events. And so, as I always do, I must start by letting you know about the disclaimer. The information presented here on Paradigm Shift TV 314 is made available solely for general information purposes. Paradigm Shift TV does not warrant the accuracy, completeness, or usefulness of this information. Any reliance you place upon such information is strictly at your own risk. Paradigm Shift TV 314 disclaims all liability and responsibility arising from any reliance placed on such materials by you or any other visitor to the platform, or by anyone who may be informed of any of its contents. Paradigm Shift TV 314 may include content provided by third parties, including materials provided by other users, bloggers, third party licensors, syndicators, aggregators, and or reporting services. All statements and or opinions expressed in these materials and all articles and responses to questions and other content other than the content provided by Paradigm Shift TV 314 are solely the opinions and the responsibility of the person or entity providing those materials. And again, as I always say, today is me, it's your boy, GT. These materials do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Paradigm Shift TV 314 and is not responsible or liable to you or any third party for the content or accuracy of any material provided by any third party. All right. So, uh, as I always like to start off and let you guys know, let me change something real quick. So, I let y'all know, I tell y'all, I grew up Christian. Therefore, my worldview is Christian. And everything I look at again is from the biblical perspective. For nearly every subject, every subject I explore or research, and I use the biblical narrative as my foundation. I take a lot of heat for that, which is fine. Uh, I am commanded to contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints, and that's what I'm going to do. But today we're going to dwell we're going to jump into some current events, and I think you all may be interested in what's going on in the world if you don't already know, you know what I'm saying? uh while serving in the military, current events was at least one way that you can get uh some recognizable points anytime you went up for a promotion. And so the superiors wanted to make sure that, you was up to date on the things going around the world because, hey, at any moment, you never know when you're going to get that call to get deployed. And this is why I'm doing a show like this, because I've always tried to keep up with current events. It's just something that I've done. And you just have to understand that me as a Christian and a Bible believing Christian, it encourages me to pay attention to what's going on around the world. And the reason why is so that I know that if the Lord was to come back in my lifetime, he may not. But if he was to come in my lifetime, that I'm paying attention to what's going on so that I could be prepared. And if he doesn't come in the time, if he doesn't come in my lifetime, at least I would know that, hey, uh, I walk the straight path, and I know at the end of that path is life eternal, is Jesus Christ. So Jesus said, and this is in Matthew chapter 16, verses 2 through 4, where he says, and I'm speaking it in layman terms. You can use any version you want, but what he states is that he says, "You hypocrites, how is it that you can look at the sky and see when it is red, you know that the weather will be calm, but when you see the sky is red and covered with threatening clouds, you know that the weather will be foul. You can discern all these things. You can discern all of this, but you cannot discern the signs of the times." So for me, again, these current events kind of play into the whole prophetic realm. And then at the same time, it's just me just trying to keep up with what's going on in the world so that I can make, conscious decisions about, what to do with my life plans or anything like that. But, it's not that I'm chasing anything, because I've been accused of that, I'm taking I'm taking news articles and building false prophecies off of them. That's not the case at all. And this is not even really that type of show. It's just that I can't help but to see prophetic things, or yeah, prophetic inclinations in some of these current events. In any case, as a Christian, there are certain current events that catch my attention. And as you will see throughout the program, but apart from my religious stance, like I said, it's more sometimes it's just more so me just trying to see what's going on in the world. Um, I don't want to be confused about what's going on in the world. And then, like, you got the media that would take certain clips and give you a short version of it and then spin it. I don't want to be deceived, and so I go look up the events myself and see what they say. Um, there are just random articles and stories I've heard about over these last couple of days leading up to the show, and this is more of an open discussion format, but with a little prophetic insight when necessary. So, with that. Sorry about that. Give me a second. I keep getting phone calls. I was afraid that was going to happen, but in any case, uh, so like I said, so the first one was anarchy, which deals with, no form of government, nobody's running the government and all. That's anarchy. And the second one is ran by one person, one man. That is a dictatorship or a monarchy. The difference between a monarchy and a dictatorship, in a sense, dictatorship is just a person who has most of the control of the government, and everybody does what he says. Monarchy usually deals with royalty, people who are kings and queens, like we saw the transitional power when Queen Elizabeth died. King Charles came to power, and therefore, he is the new king. But their government, that monarchy now today, is not like the monarchy of the old days. It's more for show now. The third is ruled by a few men, which is an oligarchy, which uh, Biden stated in his address that they are, get about to take over the United States. And then you have the fourth one, which is ruled by the majority, a democracy. So the oligarchy that Biden might be talking about, he may be talking about people like Elon Musk, and I'll show y'all the article after that, because it's funny that he brings up an oligarchy, but there are articles out there that saying that he may have been he may have created one. Actually, let me go grab that real quick. Cut out of this. Okay, pull this up. Present. Oh, what up, David? Hey, bro, you can come in here if you want. I'll post the link, and you can come in here if you want. We'll talk about it. I know that's your subject right there. All right, let me share this. Go and hit the link if you want to, bro. Share screen and pull up another article here. Very interesting. And this is CNN. This is CNN saying this. You see what I'm saying? Like, CNN is usually biased towards, Democrats, but they like, hold up, bro. You talking about oligarchs, and some officials worry he may have helped create one. It's still loading. I'll try to read it while it's loading, though. All right. So again, Biden warned of oligarchs. Some officials worry he may have helped create one. Washington, CNN. President Joe Biden's warning Wednesday night about social media misinformation and tech industrial complex. Misinformation, the tech industrial complex, and the concentration of wealth and power struck many as a not so subtle shot across the bow at Elon Musk. Right. The world's richest man, who's also become President-elect Donald Trump's craziest uh consignor. This is crazy because all of a sudden, like, I'm seeing like these big tech guys, like uh the Facebook, the guy who founded Facebook, he comes on, and if you got Facebook, you probably seen it yourself, where he posts talks about, and he talks about how Now, how the Biden administration was on him and his people's back about censoring certain things here and there, here and there. He really didn't want to do it. But keep in mind, when you go all the way back to if you go back to Obama, Zuckerberg met with Obama then. And so how like it 8 plus, let's see, 8 plus 4, 8. So we got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 16 years that Zuckerberg has been, working with the government. So I thought it was crazy that he would uh turn around and try to make it seem like, oh, well, I had to do it and all this other stuff. But yeah, he's coming over. Elon Musk is over, and you got some other technocrats out there that's coming over, which is kind of alarming to me because how can you go all these years and talk crap about Trump and censor Americans and all this other stuff and think that you're not going to get you think you're not going to get some type of retribution for what happened is and honestly, yeah, I like Trump, but at the same time, bro, if these people don't get some type of retribution for what they did, and I don't say retribution, but for some type of consequences for what they've done, uh, then we just still dealing with the same politics. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, but within the White House, many officials are grappling with the missed opportunity to cultivate Musk as an ally whose interests as an electric vehicle manufacturer often aligned with the administration, a staunch supporter of clean energy initiatives. If y'all remember, Trump was like, he liked Elon, but the realistic idea of having a nationwide nothing but electric cars cost too much is it's not reliable. It's not, and it's not a realization yet. And he told Elon Musk that to his face. Elon Musk is like, yeah, it makes sense. Um, but the opportunities I think that will come to America if everything goes, smoothly with the inauguration. There's a potential of a golden age for America. And I'm not just talking about regular Americans. I'm talking about uh, for the immigrants who have come here legally. Yeah, I feel like there's some potential for all of us in these next few years, but that's if everything goes according to plan. Let's see. Worse, some have wondered whether their actions to exclude Musk may have emboldened the entrepreneur to back Trump and pour $250 million into efforts to reelect him. Musk, a former Democrat, had not backed either candidate until Trump survived the mid-July assassination attempt. Yo, is this article trying to throw some hints out? If the article is saying Biden warned of oligarchs, some officials were that he may have helped create one, are they trying to say that maybe their attempts and trying to assassinate Trump uh, helped motivate people like Elon Musk to go to Trump's side? I ain't saying they saying that. I'm just saying that's something to think about. This is weird. All right, let me get off of it because it's acting like it doesn't want to load up. So move that out the way. What up, bro? Hey man, I'm struggling right now with this audio. I hope y'all can hear me, but um yeah, what's up? What's up, bro? So again, I don't see nobody jumping on. That's cool. So let me continue on because this thing that that Biden warned us about an oligarchy. Like I said, you got four types of government, which is anarchy, dictatorship, or monarchy. An oligarchy, which is again ruled by a few wealthy men, and a democracy, which is uh, by the majority. Let me continue. Anarchy is a form of government in transition between two other forms of government. Anarchy is created by those who wish to destroy one form of government so that it can be replaced with the form of government the anarchists wish. It too will be discarded as a valuable alternative. This is wow. This is wild to me because if anarchy happens in this country, and I'm talking about on a national scale, to me, it will look like this was purposely done in order to bring about a new government within the United States. Are we there yet? I don't know, but from what I can see, and you're gonna see in these next articles, why I feel like maybe we may we may be close, maybe not there, but yes, an art. And when you see anarchy, that means they're trying to change the government into something that uh a type of style of government that they wish. Um, the part that stood out to me basically was when he says that the anarchy is used, but it will be discarded. Well, if at any point in time you've read Revelations, you will see, I believe in Revelation 17, and let me grab it here. Oh, got Revelations missing out of this Bible. In any case, maybe I can look it up right here. That's what I'll do. I'll look it up right here. Bear with me. But in Revelations, the woman is riding a beast, and on her forehead is written Mystery Babylon, and she rides on the beast. And so, she sits as a proud woman and all this other stuff. And then later on in the chapter, the beast turns around and devours her. For us who are students of prophecy, w- we tend to look at Revelation. We tend to look at the harlot in Revelation as the false religious system that will be set up in the end times, and that this religious system will be the catalyst into bringing about the worship of the Antichrist. And when the religious system has done its job, there will be anarchy, and then the government of the beast will be set up on the back of the woman uh who will be devoured. That's what stood out to me. All right, let me hide this. Let's continue. It is generally conceded that even a monarchy or a dictatorship is an oligarchy or a government run by a small ruling minority. So you can look at dictatorships, dictatorships for y'all who remember Saddam Hussein, he was a dictator. Some people refer to Vladimir Putin as a dictator. Um, but again, it's power in the hands of few. Even monarchies, let's say even, oh, I'm sorry, every monarchy has its small circle of advisors who allow the king or dictator to rule as long as he does so in a manner pleasing to the oligarchy. It is doubtful that there has ever been a true dictatorship ruled by one person anywhere in the world, except in some isolated instances, such as in a tribe or in a clan. And so in reality, what he's saying is that uh, no type of dictatorship was really a dictatorship, because when that person got out of line, he was taken out of the way, like Saddam Hussein. This is some stuff that like when I do other shows on when I do other shows on political topics, you'll see what I mean by uh, how American foreign policies, what they do in other countries like uh destroying governments, setting up new ones. It causes all that blowback, which is why the world hates the United States. That's just facts. But on the issue of oligarchy, yes, power, wealth, and everything in the hands of a few. And Biden was saying that uh, this is happening. I can't help but to believe that uh, he already knew that. He already knew that, and we already know that. But let's continue about this oligarchy. All right. Such is also the case with a democracy, for this form of government is traditionally controlled at the top by a small ruling oligarchy. So if America is a democracy, then it's safe to say that America is being ruled by by a small few rich people. As it continues, the people in a democracy are conditioned to believe that they are indeed the decision making power in the government, but in truth, there's almost always small circles at the top making the decision for the entirety. So the only true form of government throughout history has been the oligarchy, a rule by a minority. As proof of this contentions, one has only to read the 1928 United States Army Training Manual, which defined a democracy as this: a government of masses, authority derived through mass meeting or any form of direct expression, results in mobocracy, attitudes towards property, and is communistic, negating property rights. Attitudes towards law is that the will of the majority shall regulate whether it be based upon deliberation or governed by passion, prejudice, and impulse, without restraint or regard to consequences, results in a demagogism, license, agitation, discontent, and anarchy. If America is a democracy, then we're in trouble. But in reality, America is a republic style government because, and I don't mean like Republican. What I mean is like a nation that's ruled by laws. All right. Last paragraph. A democracy, according to this definition, is actually controlled by a demagogue, defined as a speaker who seeks to make capital of social discontent and gain political influence. So demagogues are usually hired by those supporting an oligarchy as a form of government to create the anarchy or social discontent that the oligarchs convert into a true oligarchy. Democracies are converted to anarchy. You hear that? Democracies are turned into anarchy, where no one rules as the oligarchs seek to control the government themselves. And anarchy ends with a dictatorship or a tyrannical form of government when the oligarchy imposes total control over all the people. The 1928 definition of a democracy was later changed by those who write army manuals. However, in 1952, this became the definition of a democracy in the Soldier's Guide. And we got one more explanation, and then I'm go to the next news article. And he says here, because the United States is a democracy, the majority of the people decide how our government will be organized and run. And that includes the Army, Navy, Air Force. The people do this by electing representatives, and these men and women then carry out the wishes of the people. And then he says here, this is a strange definition to offer the American fighting man, that democratic policies manage the armed services. It is doubtful that enlisted men, which I was, elect their officers or make decisions as to how to conduct war. No, we don't. So if democracies are in truth oligarchies, where the minority rules, is there a form of government that protects both minority and majority rights? there is, and it is called a republic, which is defined as rule by law, a republic. Okay. And I ain't gonna go too much into that, but uh I just wanted to point out, hey, we got that word oligarchy's been thrown around. Uh but in reality, the oligarchs have always been here. Let's get into some more news that's going on around the world. Pull this one up. Y'all might like this one. This might be interesting. I don't need that one anymore. Okay. So yeah, at first the word the description was called military industrial complex. That's when the government gets involved, contractors get involved with other nations, and because they want the raw materials, what they would do is lobby senators and Congress to influence the United States to go to war so that they can make money. And then the war will be uh painted as, oh, a fight against terrorism, when really you trying to get oil, things of that nature. But see, share screen, come on. I need North Korea. A democratic form of government is how, oh, let me post that for you, bruh. So David Chandler, he says, a democratic form of government is how socialism is allowed to grow, and as a result, it will lead to communism. Yeah, so like in this book that I was just reading, um, it was saying that like the transition is like anarchy, socialism, see, anarchy, socialism, communism, dictatorship. But all in all, what he was saying is that at the end of the day, it's an oligarchy. It's truly an oligarchy because uh you got what you call the 1%, or they call them, or 5%, 1% of the rich in the world that's has their hands in everything. And we've talked about this before, as far as like the Illuminati, these secret societies that are behind the scenes, which is this book calls, The Hidden Hand. My bad. All right. So fix this real quick. Space Wars, your world at war. All right. North Korea warns of responding more intensively to US drills in South Korea, Japan. North Korea warns of responding more intensely to US drills with South Korea. North Korea warned Friday that it would exercise its right to self-defense more intensively as it condemned recent trilateral air drills held by South Korea, the United States, and Japan. But see, my question is like, well, North Korea is active in Ukraine. We know because one of their soldiers was captured by a Ukrainian. I think I have an article that will show how the North Koreans have been used in the Ukrainian war. But then again, it's like, it's like a fair trade. If the United States is going to be sending weapons to Ukrainians, I guess Russia has every right to use its allies on the grounds of war as well. But North Korea had just fired a test missile in the Japan Sea, or was it Japan Sea? Yeah, I think in the Japan Sea. You don't think that's a sign of provocation? You saying, like, North Korea is saying that they're going to react to drills that the United States have, or Japan has, in relationship with the United States, because we team up on military exercises. Japan hasn't really fought in a war since they got bombed by us. So they've really been like a pacifist country, but they still have like a standing military with the threat of uh Russia, as they would call it, and China threatening to invade Taiwan. Yeah, everybody shook up. Everybody is shook up. But again, it's like everybody's preparing to fight. Let me continue. That's where I'm at right here. The North's foreign ministry issued the statement after U.S. B-1B strategic bombers took part in an aerial exercise Wednesday with South Korea and Japanese fighter planes over waters near the Korean Peninsula. From the onset of the year, the U.S. and its satellites are getting ever more undisguised in their military provocations to pose a grave challenge to the security environment of the DPRK. The statement carried by Korean Central News Agency said, "The Democratic People's Republic of Korea is the official name of North Korea. The ministry blamed U.S. political and military provocations for raising the danger of armed conflict in the region and said North Korea would respond more intensively to defend itself with a growing arsenal of weapons." So again, like I said, the activities of the United States has unsettled the world, and uh, these nations are actually responding to us in most of these cases. Let me hide this. Okay, let me go to the next one. Stop screen. Let's see, inauguration. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I got y'all. Here you go. Here's another. So what y'all think is going to happen? Like we have, let me just read the article when it pops up. Bingo. Okay, got some more power. All right. Come on, load up, load up. I think because my computer was about to go dead, that's why that happened. All right, so I'm gonna just read it. Hopefully it pops up by the time I finish, but this is from politico.com. And the title is Trump inauguration potential regret. I'm sorry, potential targets for threats. Agencies warn. The possible threats detailed in a security assessment ahead of the inauguration reflects the heightened political and potentially violent environment in which Trump will assume power. U.S. national security agencies are warning that President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration will be an attractive potential target for violent extremists, even as they say there are no specific credible threats. They say. So I can't help but to be taken back to the assassination attempt. Uh who can this man trust? Like who can he trust as far as his security goes? I'm hoping and praying that there are some good people within the Justice Department, the military, uh the police department that will keep not just him but everybody safe, because terrorists that's terrorists don't care who they kill as long as they get the person they trying to get. And so at the end of the day, if they kill 100 people trying to get to one person, guess what? that one person was the main target, and all the other 100 people, they just collateral damage. And so that's why I say I pray for everybody, not just Trump, but for everybody who is going to be attending this uh, this inauguration. Potential perpetrators, particularly those with the election related grievances, may see the president elect's swearing in as their last opportunity to influence the election results through violence. A group of intelligence and law enforcement agencies wrote in a threat assessment, which hasn't been made public and was reviewed by Politico. The agency's concerns reflect the heightened political and potentially violent environment in which Trump will assume power. Law enforcement, too, are beefing up security efforts for January 20th. Police from around the country will pour into D.C. The city's police department will be reinforced around 4,000 officers, police chief Pamela Smith said at a press conference Monday. So, uh, I forgot the young lady's name, but she was being uh sworn in, or actually she was being interviewed for Secretary of State of the United States. And she kept saying the one thing that she kept saying that stood out to me was that she didn't have a security clearance to talk about some of the things that she knows. And until then, she can't really say what she really wanted to say, but you can talk to any former CIA agent, military officer, sergeant, no matter what rank, they all, even dignitaries around the world in other countries, they all feel and believe that something is going to pop off in America. And the fact that Donald Trump was nearly assassinated does not, does not, it does not uh cause me to take these threats lightly. If they tried one time, why wouldn't they try again? And if there are oligarchs in control of the country who are the unseen hand, who's to say that they are not the ones perpetrating these things? One name stands out to me is George Soros. Somebody's heard that name quite a bit. Uh, I don't have the articles, but some believe that he had his hands in the the situations, the riots that were taking place around the country during President Trump's first term. And I wonder how he's going to handle it in this term, because these cities were ravaged. You hear me? They were ravished. We had people handing out assault rifles out of the back of their cars. We had innocent people being murdered and their businesses being looted. When the remember the riots were in response to the black cause, but yet you got this black pawn shop owner dead on the ground, shot in the chest, trying to protect his property, his business. It's hypocrisy, man. Any case, so I wonder what's going to happen. And like I said, I pray and hope that President Trump is safe and that everybody else is safe, especially in this country and around the world. Um, you see that there are people that don't like the United States. We saw that with the situation that happened in Louisiana. That was definitely a terrorist attack. The man had an ISIS flag in the back of his truck. And I don't, and I'm gonna say this as a soldier, I don't care if the man used to be in the military or not, because I understand that this is the way that they work. They will infiltrate the organizations of their enemies and then create chaos. It's called the fifth column. Y'all should look that up. Y'all should look that up. And so he probably went to the military to play off the fact that, hey, he's a patriot. But in reality, he he had an agenda the whole time. And they are very patient. All right, let me get off of this one. See, I told you I wasn't going to hit y'all with all this prophecy stuff. Not yet, anyway. It's 12:59. Been on about a little less than an hour. Let me stop this screen. All right. Let's go to the next article. Let's see what else is going on in the world. Uh, hmm. Let's see what this one says. Okay. Let's pull this one up. Ooh, wait. Guess I'll accept the cookies. I don't know. All right, I'll read this as it attempts to load up on your side. I hurt my ears. Okay, this is from Brett Barr. Watch. Khomeini's rep mocks Trump, warns Iran will turn the White House into a Shiite Islamic center. Uh-oh. Better be careful. Better watch your mouth. The Islamic Republic of Iran will turn the White House into a Shiite Islamic center. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's representative and cleric in the Fars province, Lutfullah Dizakum, pledged in recent remarks. Uh, if if y'all know anything about Islam, Islam is definitely about world domination. Um, some people will say, well, that's you have to that's radical Islam. I would leave it up to the Muslims to explain that part, but I do know that there is a body within the Islamic religion that believes in not just the spiritual aspects of what they call holy war, but in the physical aspects of holy war, which is called jihad. I'll pull it up for you in a little bit. Um, and in jihad, basically, is to bring Islam to the entire world. That's the main goal. If you know anything about Islamic history, when it first started, of course, it was headed by a man whom they call the Prophet Muhammad. There is some questions on whether or not he was a true person or not. I'm not here to debate that, but uh, we know just from the history itself that Islam was spread through the sword. As a matter of fact, just as Christianity had taken hold of much of North Africa, believe between the second, third, fourth, and fifth century AD, at least 600 years after Jesus Christ, Christianity was well and alive in Africa 600 years after Christ. And then all of a sudden, a new religion popped up called Islam with the Prophet Muhammad. And from Saudi, I believe it was from Saudi Arabia or from Arabia. The conquest went from Saudi Arabia into Egypt and into Libya and other parts of Africa. And many Christians and people who had not been associated with religion. Well, I ain't gonna say not religion, but people of the indigenous religions were all caught up in the Islamic expansion, and in some cases, the darker Africans were subjected to slavery. Uh, it was called the trans-Saharan slave trade. If you ever get a chance, look that up. Um, but that's just a little bit of history of where Islam came from. And then you had the Ottoman Empire. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the Ottoman Empire had actually been successful in conquering what was called the New and the Old Worlds, and the worlds associated with the Roman Empire. Every country that bordered the Mediterranean Sea had come under the Islamic flag. Uh, like Turkey, Turkey was the base of the Ottoman Empire, and there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history in regards to who the true Muslims are between, the Shiites and the Sunnis. But again, within what they would call radical Islam, the spread of Islam is the main goal. And yes, placing a Islamic flag on top of the White House is at the top of their list. Believe it. This is why so many people had questions about Umar. I forgot the Umar. I forgot the senator's name, but I think she just got ousted. And uh it was said that she had some association with the Islamic Brotherhood. But again, ISIS, Hamas, Islamic terrorist organizations, and we see what happened in Louisiana was a terrorist attack. Let's continue to read. The Islamic Republic of Iran, he's a Shiite, will not be able to do. Okay. Descam warned that the godless American officials should know that this promise will turn into reality and that the incoming president, Donald Trump, will not be able to do a damn thing. Hey, this is his words. This is what he says. And I wonder what makes him so confident, because prior to Donald Trump leaving, he killed all negotiations with them as far as like the nuclear deal. Like he stopped funding to Iran, and they were probably, I don't know how close they were to developing a nuclear bomb, but it halted them during the first Trump administration. Biden comes in and then he approves funding for Iran immediately. And now I haven't looked it up, but I can't help but to think Iran may have some type of weapon of mass destruction ready for the United States. And in some instances, some people believe it will be some type of EMP attack, an electromagnetic pulse attack that will happen on the that will happen because of Iran. Again, there's a lot of prophetic play going on here because, okay, so let's look at this for an example. Iran and Russia are buddies, good old buddy old pals. As a matter of fact, a lot of the drones used in Russia came from Iran. Uh, but Iran may not have the nuclear capability right now, but EMP attack on the United States, and for y'all that's listening, if y'all want to, you can go and look this up. EMP attack threat against the United States. This is a threat that they've said to us before. They told us what they gonna do to us. And right here, it seems like the Iranian representative is quite sure about their capabilities of setting up an Islamic flag on the White House. But again, it can be all talk, because Iran, the politicians, the government is losing a lot of support from from its citizens because of the type of government that they have. They have a true oligarchy. It's ran by the Ayatollahs, and these Ayatollahs are the supreme spiritual leaders in Iran, and nothing is done except with their word. So I'm gonna read one more. So in his Friday sermon, see, like I said, it was a sermon. So he's trying to hype up his converts or whatever. In his Friday sermon in Shiraz, Iran, on January 10th, Descom expressed his belief that global power is shifting in favor of Islam, stating that the future is not far and tomorrow is ours, envisioning the eventual transformation of the White House into a Shiite Islamic center. It has been this way since the beginning of God's creation, he declared. There are ups and downs, there is good and bad, and there is victory and there is defeat. There are happy days and also difficult days. This is how it is, he added. You should not despair. You should be hopeful. What would an Islamic flag on the United States White House look like for America? Well, I can tell you one thing. One aspect of Islam, I'm sure that the United States would inherit would be the Sharia law. If you get time, look up Sharia law. You will see that these are not the kind of laws that American citizens would want to live under. But if there's chaos, if there's anarchy, and then Islam comes and take the head and becomes the government, you ain't gonna have no other choice. Mm. And what religion you think would be target number one if that was to happen? I'm just saying it's something to think about. Let's move on to the next article. Let's see, 111. Okay. Remove. It's very interesting. All right, cut this off. Let's go to the next one. Where was I at? This one seems to be interesting. This one happened in Guatemala. Let me pull it up for you real quick. Share screen. Come on. Don't be shy. All right. Shocking Guatemala. Israel National News. That is where this is from. I'll read the title while it pops up. Shock in Guatemala. Cult leaders order mothers to starve children. Guatemalan authorities have learned that the leaders of the Lav Tahar cult have ordered members not to allow their children to eat and even to murder them if the Zionists come to rescue them. What is going on in Guatemala? Guatemalan welfare authorities were forced to separate members of the Lev Tahor cult from their children after it was discovered that the cult's leader ordered mothers to deliberately starve their children. You know what the Bible says about those who hurt children? It will be better for you to tie a noose around your neck with a heavy rock and to be thrown in the deepest part of the sea. That's what Jesus said. And this is not something new with cults. Cults technically operate like this. They do some of the weirdest stuff. The mothers were brainwashed and ordered their children to starve to death and not eat even fruit and vegetables, sources said. These children's health, including their mental health, is really bad. Think about the psychological effects that these children will have later on for the ones that were rescued. Since the raid on December 20th, during which 160 minors and 40 women were rescued from the cult's compound in Santa Rosa, the heads of the cult managed to smuggle phones into the welfare centers and continued to pass on instructions. Even more appalling, according to the sources, instructions were discovered ordering the mothers to kill their children if the Zionists came to rescue them. Zionists usually refer to uh political Israel, because political Israel, and I use that word like that to help distinguish the regular people of Israel from the political body of Israel, which they refer to them as Zionists. I don't know too much about this cult, but their behavior is nothing new when it comes to cults around the world and cults from the past. Um, One thing that Jesus said in Matthew 24, let me get it real quick. Forgive my Bible, this thing is toe up. Matthew 24. This is what he says. It's funny. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, see you not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Am I missing a page? I think I'm missing a page, y'all. Okay. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what should be the sign of your coming and the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and shall deceive many. Now, I don't know if the cult leaders were perpetuating themselves to be these people's saviors or anything like that. But the key words at the end of what Jesus said is, and many shall be received. They shall be received is the key word there. And I always ask myself when I hear about stories like this, especially in the United States, is like, how do these people get duped into believing what these people are saying? Were they forced into a cult, or were they conned into a cult? Um, like the cults here in the United States, some of the things that they teach are just bizarre, but people's minds have been so manipulated that it's hard for them to break free. And it just makes me think again, some of these women seem to have been willing to follow these instructions. What type of world are we living in? All right, go to the next one. Stop screen. So what else we got here? So and everything that I just showed y'all, this was just stuff that came out today. There was so much stuff, so many links, so many things going on. Like, for example, we was talking about the ceasefire. As I was preparing for the show last week, so many things was changing all the way up to today. And so that's what I'm saying. Things like current events can happen like that. But let's continue. Let's see. Let me try this one. Since we was talking about the ceasefire, let me go to the ceasefire. This was the first one that I had brought up. And share screen. Don't need that one. All right. So what's going on here? So if y'all have been following the whole ceasefire situation, uh, I just want to look into some of the aspects leading up to the most current issues facing the ceasefire and just talk about that. And all right, here we go. And I'm gonna read this as it tries to load up on your side. This is from the Jerusalem Post. No, and this was posted January 14th. No final answer from Hamas regarding hostage deal, official tells Post. According to the report, an Israeli official noted that while progress, oh, that hurt. Sorry. No, 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 come back, come back. Sometimes I hate my phone. Oh, okay, sorry about that. Anyways, uh, according to the report, an Israeli official noted that while progress had been made, the final details were still under discussion. No final answer was given from Hamas regarding the hostage deal, an Israeli official told Jerusalem Post on Tuesday. No, matter of fact, I'm gonna get the most updated. Let me get the most updated one. This one don't even want to load up. Let me go grab the most up to date one. Okay. Let's see. Gaza reuters, Hamas ceasefire call. All right, let me pull this up for y'all. This one might be interesting. Share screen. All right, hopefully this pops up. So this was yesterday. All right. And this is from Reuters.com. U.S. says Gaza ceasefire to start as planned despite loose end. Summary, latest developments. Israeli minister says he will quit government if ceasefire approves. Why? Media say Netanyahu's cabinet to vote on deal on Friday or Saturday. Prime Minister's office has not confirmed when vote will occur. Doha, Cairo, Jerusalem. The Gaza Strip ceasefire should begin on Sunday as planned, despite the need for negotiators to tie up loose end. At the last minute, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said on Thursday, with long-standing divisions apparent among ministers, Israel delayed cabinet meetings to ratify the ceasefire with Hamas, and media reports said voting could occur Friday, which is today, or even Saturday, which is tomorrow, although the deal is expected to be approved. So Israel blamed the militant group for the holdup, even as Israeli warplanes pounded Gaza in some of the most intense strikes for months. So although this ceasefire is going on, uh, Israel and Hamas are still going at it, or was still going at it. Um, I think as of today, maybe uh, the ceasefire has actually started. It's not exactly surprising that in a process of negotiating that has been this challenging and this fraught, you may get a loose end. Blinken told a press conference in Washington, "We're trying, we're tying up the loose ends as we speak." I want have y'all seen President Biden's address after the deals were supposedly made? They came to an agreement, and then not even moments after that, the reports came out. Oh, Netanyahu delays ceasefire. It's crazy. It is crazy. Let's see what else I got for y'all. What else? Uh oh, here's one. I'm gonna do this one. and then I'm gonna do one more and then go into my spiel. Okay, remove. Remove. Come on. That's all right. See, stop screen. I hate when my computer does this. This is crazy. All right. Let me grab this one. Share screen. All right, I'll read this as it pops up. Hopefully it pops up on your side. Congo executes 102 urban bandits with 70 more set to be killed, officials said. 102 men were executed by the Congolese government in the past week, and 70 are set to be executed today. And this was actually a few weeks ago, last week, January the 5th. Some 102 men were executed by the Congolese government in the past week, and 70 more are set to be executed, the country minister of justice said Sunday in a statement to the Associated Press. It said the men aged 18 to 35 were armed robbers and urban bandits locally known as Kalunas, who were executed in northwest Congo at a Ajinga prison. 45 were killed in late December, and the remaining 57 were executed within the last 48 hours. A flight of 70 more people from Kinshasa has arrived in Ajinga, but the government hasn't commented on the status of the prisoners. Minister of Justice Mutamba, who is overseeing the execution, said late Sunday the third batch will be executed. So the first two have already undergone the measure of execution by the death penalty. The government's decisions to apply the death penalty was proved divisive. Some have welcomed the measures as a means of restoring order and security in the city, while others are concerned about the risk of abuse and human rights violations. Now, I went and looked at some of these executions. They pretty much tied them up and shot him, just like old school. But in the chat with the super team, I asked, nobody said anything, but I wondered, let's say the gangs, and I'm not advocating for this, but let's just say our government decided, you know what, in order to try and thwart gang violence, robberies, and things of that matter in the United States, let's just gather all the gangs up and set dates for them to be executed. Do you think that would thwart violence in America? I think it would, but I would also have the same concerns as the people. You know, is this an abuse of power? But let me show y'all something. Y'all can read this whenever y'all get time. There were, from what I can tell from some of the updates, there were some who were about to get executed, but instead was transported to. So some background to what was going on. Apparently, one of these guys came from America and recruited uh some other guys uh in the Congo to go out and rob and steal and kill people and things of that nature, and terrorizing the civilians, terrorizing the place. And the incoming president got a hold of them, and he first offered them, hey, we can send y'all to this place, y'all can learn a trade. Most of them was like, no, we ain't doing it. And so the second thing, the next result was this. He captured most of them, brought them into prison, read them their sentences, and then executed them. And so I wonder what would happen if something like that happened in the United States. I don't know. But let's see if I can find that video of one of those guys who was about to get killed. Hopefully they let me show it. Is this it? Please let this be it. And the guy looked real young. Here it is right here. Oh man. Uh let's see. Present. Yeah, I saw it on TikTok. Yeah, I saw it on TikTok. Okay. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but let me pause it. If it don't show up, I'll just share a link with y'all. But basically, it's what it's showing is that a, a rack of these kids. Here it is. Here it is. Let's get it. Let's get it. I don't know if y'all can hear it or not.
Are a child. No one is scared of you here. So we will teach you manners.
They're not, but
Any place. Yeah, that is called basic manners for man. By the time that I'm here, you will be able to
I'm
say,
sorry. A little echo there.
how may I help? The laziness.
I'm just saying.
Guys here.
Look what they did. It might have been something that was like scared straight. I love to get
Like it or not, you will do chores here.
the in between
like it or not,
how this
when
came
you
to
say
be. But some of these guys I recognized being locked up when I was reading the article. Stop screen. Yeah, so I just wondered what would happen if you know what I'm saying, the United States did something like that. Do y'all think violent crimes and gangs and things would decrease? Excuse me. But remember what I said earlier about, the style of government that would take place if Islam came into power. They would definitely do something like that. They would definitely do something like that. It's a form of Sharia law. Courtney, what's up, bro? Peace, peace, peace. So let me go to the next article. We almost done here. Like I said, I just wanted to do this to be up on the up and up when it comes to current events. All right, let's see. What was another one that I really wanted to get into? Pose, Bret Hart, persecution. Here we go. All right. Share screen. Hopefully this. Okay. I said this earlier. Hopefully it'll pop up for y'all. Let me get rid of this one. So as it pulls up on your side, let me remove this. I got you. Okay. Is it moving? Yep. All right. So again, this is Bret Bart. Again, this stuff that comes across my screen, and I just read just again, just to see what's going on. This was posted January 9th. Exclusive persecution expert Christians in Aleppo could face beginning of the end under jihad rule. The ancient Christian community of Syria is facing an existential threat, particularly in Aleppo, where the rise of the Islamic terror gang Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, could be the beginning of the end. The president of International Christian Concerns, Jeff King, told Breitbart News on Wednesday. So Syria is it's like northeast of Israel. And as I stated earlier, in the history of Islam, this was one of the places that Islam touched and was settled in. But keep in mind, it says ancient Christian community. And the reason why it says ancient Christian community is because there were Christians there first. What up, DMG? What's up with you, bro? What up, Mo? Hey, man, I hope you're getting some rest. Doctor's orders. Doctor's orders, bruh. All right. So, anyways, but yes, ancient Christian community in Syria is facing an existential threat, particularly in Aleppo. So, the Christians are an ancient group in Aleppo, and they've been there since the apostles, since the gospel spread in the first century AD, all the way up, up to 600. And even to this day, it's still being spread. But the point is that these people, these Christians, were there already. And when Islam came, of course, you either convert or you pay the tax or you get your head chopped off. And unfortunately, when we see anarchy take place between transitionings of governments, like during the Arab Spring, you saw the rise. You saw the rise of Christian persecution in Islamic lands. And we may have a similar situation taking place uh, within the next months or so. Remember, when Obama was in power, we had what was called the Arab Spring. And this is when ISIS rose up. We saw pictures of Christians, and we talk about Arabic Christians now being placed in cages, being thrown into the swimming pool while they're in those cages and filmed as they drown. We saw acts of cannibalism in some places where they were taking the blood of Christians and placing them in small bottles and selling them. And there was even, again, the cannibalism part is, yes, some people, I'm trying to think, maybe it was in Iraq. I can't remember what nation, but y'all can fact check me if you want. I'll fact check myself later. But yeah, they were cutting Christians up in a butcher and literally selling human flesh, all based off the my bad, got a phone call. But it was all based upon the fact that they were Christians. All right. And remember what I asked earlier. You remember the representative of Iran stated that Trump ain't gonna be able to do anything if they wanted to put an Islamic flag on top of the White House. And if Islam comes to power, and if we see what Islam does to Christians in their own countries, imagine what will happen to the Christians in the United States if Islam was to take power. And again, this show is not about Islam. This is just news articles that popped up, and I'm reading them, and just giving my response. But in any case, King's organization works globally to help Christians who face government persecution, violence from terrorists and anti-Christian mobs, and other dangers. It published its Global Persecution Index, GPI, a global assessment of the most dangerous places in the world to practice Christianity, shortly after the new year. The 2025 edition covers persecution in 2024, posing a complicated situation for assessing Syria as the half-century old Assad family regime officially collapsed in December. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all this. Y'all might not know, but despite how bad Assad, the president who fled to Russia, as bad as he was, for some reason he had, I don't know, an obligation to protect the Christians while he was in power. I haven't done the background onto why, but during the Islamic the Arab Spring, this is when I found that out, because Assad was always uh like Assad, and who was the Libyan president that they got rid of? Benghazi. He was in Benghazi. Yasser Arafat. No, that's Palestinian. I can't remember my boy though. I'll come back to him. But in any case, uh, they were, potentially seen as dictators. And again, from what I've been taught by our government and news media about these people, like Assad, that these very horrible people kill their own people, gas them and stuff like that. But when you go and do the research and you read about the history and you see, like, oh my goodness, he was actually fighting against the terrorists. They were fighting against the terrorists. And these were the people that he gassed. And the reason why, because they were attacking Christians in the country. But now that Assad, as you see here, it says government fails, uh, prosecutor explained to Breitbart News that Syria was definitely on the radar, but the fall of Assad happened incredibly fast. And so with the fall of Assad is basically going to guarantee the persecution of the Christians in Syria, where you may have a mass exodus of Christians out of that place. But under the Trump administration, I don't know how this is all going to play out. And also there's prophetic insight about Damascus, um, which is in Syria, if I'm not mistaken, and that it will be left as a heap of ruins. It's 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 alive today, but it looks like Syria may be on the map for utter destruction. How that comes about, I don't know. But let's continue reading. Starting in September, HTS invaded and Assad fell after the final assembly of the report, so they weren't on the list. He explained regrettably, predicting that should the Islamic violence of HTS is the where they at? HTS is the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, terrorist organization in Syria. He explained, regrettably predicting that should the Islamic HTS not be contained, Syria will surely appear in the 2026 edition in regards to Christian persecution. HTS is a jihadist terrorist organization that began as part of Al Qaeda. Again, my boy in Libya, he kept telling the reporters, it's not me, it's not me, it's Al Qaeda, it's Al Qaeda. And they don't branched off into HTS, ISIS. But another thing that I figured out that I found out was that some of these organizations were funded by our own government, the CIA. You can fact check me on that. Uh, when you have terrorist organizations that have weapons with United States national stock numbers on it, ain't no hiding it. Ain't no hiding it. Ain't no way. How they say, ain't no way, man. Ain't no way. All right, let me get off of this one. But this is interesting because the reason why I think this one is interesting to me is because Christian persecution around the world is happening, and America has not yet has not tasted the real persecution of Christians in its country as of yet. And and I you know Christians, we have this conversation about Christian persecution and where it falls within the I guess the end time prophecies. And my thought was always, because it's it's this thing about this this thing about you know the rapture versus like pre-tribulation rapture versus mid-tribulation rapture versus post-tribulation rapture, where one camp believes that we will be taken from the planet as far as Christians are concerned. God will take Christians away from the planet before all of this type of stuff happens. There are some who believe that we will go through most of all of this persecution. And then in the middle of the tribulation period, God will take us. And some believe that we just going to go through all of it. And right at the end of these 7 years of tribulation, God is going to snatch us up in the clouds and then return back with us. Whichever point a person holds. I think my stance was this. Yes, I'm pre-trib, but I don't believe that the church will somehow miss some of this persecution. Why? Because the persecution is already here. The church, the body of Christ has been persecuted ever since Jesus Christ established the church. It has been happening. And so it's just that the level of persecution here in America, uh, in reality, has not hit its full throttle. And maybe in these 4 years, we may not see it. But remember, there are political movements that are hostile towards Christian and conservative ideas. And so we may have a government that say, we don't want abortion, but we may have another government that comes in and allow abortion full throttle. We got a lot to deal with, but I think on this situation here, American Christians do need to prepare themselves because um, there have been churches that have been tagged with Islamic symbols down around the borders of Mexico and the United States, and that basically states Islam or die. And so the persecution is very relevant. All right, we at 148. Okay, I'm gonna have to end this in a little bit. Let me get one more in here, and then we just go. And then I'm gonna end it to see stop screen. Let's see what else looking good. There was another article that I was going to bring up, but it was too sensitive, about the young 14-year-old boy who got stabbed in the heart. And I pull it up. I will pull it up. Copy. I will pull it up. And this is sad. It's really sad. Yeah, I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna show it anyway. Very sad. All right. This is New York Times, and it says here, man charged in stabbing. Really? Let me see if this works. You see, I had the article, I had the link, but I realized that I don't know if they had taken it down or not, but let's see. See, 14-year-old stabbed. This is in New York. BBC. No, that's bus murder. I'm sorry, y'all. That's harsh too. Let's way to school. Okay, let's go to ABC News in New York. See, back in the days, you could send your kids to school walking. Your kids could walk to school. They live close by. I used to walk to school. But today you just can't do that. Because you got so many crazy people living out here in this world. I guess I'll let it play. I don't know if y'all can hear it or not, but
friends gathering to pay respects to a 14-year-old stabbed and killed on his way to school.
From the Mott Haven section, here's Eyewitness News reporter Lucy Yang.
Justice for Caleb!
They marched for the sweet young boy who promised to provide for his family someday.
His dreams was to be a football player. He said that he wants to take care of us, when he grows up. He was a very beautiful boy.
They cried for the 14-year-old who was innocently walking to school.
Everybody loved Caleb. He was so special.
Never mind a cane or a crutch, more than 100 braved the cold to honor the freshman football player who was full of dreams.
He was a very kind kid. He'd never do nothing wrong. He's always smiling, had a good time.
14-year-old Caleb Rijos was fatally stabbed in the heart and lungs in the Bronx last Friday. We're told he called his father to say he could not breathe.
For his father to have to hear his last moments is heartbreaking. This has destroyed my family completely.
Eclipsing their sorrow is anger at politicians who failed them. Police arrested 29-year-old Waldo Mejia the next day and found the possible murder weapon. But instead of giving the family comfort, they were horrified to learn Mejia described as a violent repeat offender with mental illness. 5 days before Caleb was killed, authorities believe Mejia stabbed a man on the subway. Last November, this video shows him stabbing a neighbor's Ring camera. Mejia has also been arrested for allegedly setting a neighbor's home on fire and 2 different gun possession charges. And yet he was free to cross paths with an unsuspecting child.
That's outrageous. That's actually ridiculous.
okay, that's enough of that. You see what I'm saying? So apparently, because of the laws or the lack of laws in New York, so what happened? This man was able to get out. If you think about it, if you find somebody on your ring camera stabbing your camera, and you report them to the police, you put out a restraining order against them, you think that, hey, the police have done their job, but they only come to find out that even this manner of behavior did not cause him to be locked up. Apparently, he had already stabbed somebody else. He went in and they let him right out. There's something that Jesus said in Matthew 24 again. Let's see. But not yet. Here it is. Let me just read from verse 8. This is Matthew 24 again. Then shall they, no, I'm sorry. All these are the beginnings of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. We just talked about Christian persecution or the rise of it. And then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. The love of many shall wax cold. That means that the love between mankind will decrease. Love is expressed in a sense of warmth and comfort, but I hear is how's it now, bro? Yeah, I think I was getting a phone call and I keep getting all these notifications. I got I got like 10 minutes left, so I just wanted to point this out. Um yeah, the love of many shall wax cold. And the reason why I go to the scriptures with this is because it just reminds me of the times that we live in. It reminds me of the times that we live in. And you saw when I was looking for this article, there was another article about a bus stabbing. The society that we live in today is is extreme. It's extreme. And so in the beginning, when I told y'all, let me click out of this, stop screen. And so what I told y'all was that when I'm looking at all the things that's going on in the world, as a Christian, I take a Christian perspective to what's going on. Some things prophetic, some things just wanting to know. And I thought this was interesting because when I heard about this story about this young man being stabbed, I was like, okay, was this was this another illegal immigrant who committed a crime, or is this something that's drug related, or is this some type of gang related? No, it was just a man who was mentally unstable, who was allowed to roam the streets after he had already tried to kill somebody. And I recall in the Bible where God says, woe to them who call evil good and good evil. And he said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And for whatever reason, the New York politicians had created a situation to where this man was able to walk the streets and randomly kill people. Now, let's take this into account. If anarchy was to hit the United States and these oligarchies are in control of all of this, can we say that the oligarchy in New York should be held responsible for creating the situation for this little boy to get killed? It's something to think about. It's just something to think about. If somebody tries to kill somebody else, why would you put them back out on the streets? Unless you're trying to create chaos. You're trying to create chaos. We saw in Guatemala cult leaders informing their cult members to starve their kids. It's just something that we have to be aware of. And again, looking at what Jesus Christ said about the days that we live in, can we not see the signs of the times that we live in? Uh, let me see if I can roam through all of these real quick. So again, we had Biden talking about the rise of an oligarchy, which I think we all know that knew that there was a few rich people who had their hands in every government of the world, and they are controlling the things that happen in this world. But there seems to have been some hypocrisy there because, the Biden administration was in cahoots with social media like Zuckerberg to stifle and censor content, especially content that didn't favor the Democrats. But now he wants to turn around and be all up on Trump's NUTs. That's suspect to me. Yeah, that's suspect to me. We had North Korea complaining about the United States doing war games or scenarios in and around their area, but yet they just shot a missile into the South China Sea or into the Japan Sea. Who's egging who on here? Then you got the Shiite leaders talking about they want to put an Islamic flag on top of the White House. And the ceasefires, according to these sources, have come to play, which may start today or tomorrow. We'll see. But this is what I wanted to say, all in all. Like Jesus Christ said, when you see these things happening, know that my coming is near. I've heard a lot of my family members speak about the fires in California and say that God is going to destroy the world with fire. And I look at that situation as a typification of what can happen or what will happen when the Lord returns, when he judges the nations. But keep in mind, the people of the world are being judged based upon how they are destroying the earth. Let me see if I can find this real quick. It's 201. Advanced Bible search. Give y'all a little bit of Bible before y'all go. They destroy. I can't find it right now. But again, Jesus Christ is coming back to stop mankind from destroying the world and destroying himself, because without any divine intervention, mankind wouldn't survive. Mankind wouldn't survive, not one bit. I mean, again, look at it. All these nations either fighting a war or preparing for war. Jesus Christ said right here, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilences, earthquakes. I didn't even get to that one. Where is it at? Japan got hit with a nope. Man, I didn't even get to the fact. Like, did y'all know that the FDA has regulated that red 3? Let me pull it up real quick. This will be the last one for y'all, and then I'm gone. There's a lot of stuff going on. FDA. Here we go. This is gonna be the last one for y'all. Okay, as it loads up on your side, I'll just say this. I'll just read it out loud. FDA bans red number 3, artificial coloring used in beverages, candy, and other foods. Why? The Food Administration said Wednesday is banning the use of red number 3, a synthetic dye that gives food and drinks their bright red cherry color, but has been linked to cancer in animals. The dye is still used in thousands of foods, including candy, cereals, cherries, and fruit cocktails, and strawberry flavored milkshakes. According to the Center for Science and the Public Interest, a food safety advocacy group that petitioned the agency in 2022 to end its use, more than 9,200 food items contain the dye, including hundreds of products made by large food companies, CSPI said, citing Agricultural Department data. The FDA is not prohibiting other artificial dyes, including red number 40, which has been linked to behavior issues in children. The FDA's decision is a victory for consumer advocacy groups and some U.S. lawmakers who have long urged to revoke red number 3 approval, citing ample evidence that its use in beverages, dietary supplements, cereals, and candies may cause cancer as well as affect children's behavior. I'm going to tell y'all something and I'm going to have to go. I do not like anything that has light, that says LITE, sugar free, any of that. I know somebody who used to use a lot of that in their coffee and they ended up getting multiple sclerosis. How and why I don't know. But I've heard rumors about things like yellow 5 and how it makes men impotent. And so you wonder why they would allow this stuff to be in our food, knowing that it can harm us mentally, because it says it can cause behavior changes in children. It's in the candies. It is linked to cancer in intestines when it comes to animals. Why in the world would they give us this stuff? Again, is it the oligarchy that Biden is talking about? And are we going to sit here and believe that he didn't know about these oligarchies before leaving power? Because it would have been really nice. It would have been nice for somebody in the government to say, hey, we don't need fluoride in the water. We don't need these chemicals in the foods that we eat because they're causing obesity. They're causing diabetes. They're causing high blood pressure. They're causing mental sicknesses and illnesses. But y'all think we crazy as Christians when we say, and this is where I give the Black Hebrew Israelites some credit and not wanting to eat unclean foods because of stuff like this. You can't even drink a red Fanta soda without worrying about getting having some type of mental issue or cancer. Some people's bodies are more sensitive to this stuff than others. I'm very sensitive to this stuff. That's why I drink coffee and I drink water and I drink a Pepsi here and there. You know what I'm saying? But I don't abuse it. But again, now that I know that this red number 3 has been officially linked to cancer with animals, I ain't even gonna get no more gummy bears. It sucks, man. That sucks. So we are at the 2-hour mark, and I just want to let y'all know. Again, I want to give out my shout outs to DMG. Appreciate you, bro, for allowing me to do this. Just a conversation here, just bringing up current events, and you know what I'm saying, trying to stay consistent with this thing. Also, shout out to the whole Paradigm Shift platform. And y'all seen the advertisement at the beginning. Hey, check out the tournament. It should be very interesting. I really want to check the one out that's about sentient alien life. Because I just did a show about UFOs and what I believe they to truly be, and that is interdimensional beings. But there's some other conversations that I think is gonna be pretty good. And so y'all make sure that y'all tune in to Paradigm Shift TV and look at these debates, give your input, and we go from there. And with this being said here, let me go ahead and click off of this. Stop screen. So I'll just say this to y'all. So seeing everything that's going on in the world, and if you're not sure about, where you may end up in eternity, and you see what, it's almost like, sorry y'all, I'll be getting phone calls, but me reading these articles, in some instances, sounded like I was coming straight from the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Little boy getting stabbed in the chest, falls under the love of many, waxing cold. This is happening all over the world. Children are being trafficked, sex trafficked. Shut up, Lulu. Children are being sex trafficked, abused, and everything. Wars and rumors of wars, all of this stuff is coming to pass. And so I would just say, if you're not sure about where you're at as far as your relationship with God, all it takes is just for you to sit and pray and ask God to come into your heart and accept what Jesus Christ has done for you as a sinner, and get yourself into a good Bible-based church, or and make sure you read the Bible as much as you can. Study to show yourself approved, as the Bible states, and always be up to date on what's going on in the world, because people will tell you anything based off of a small clip. And if you haven't really looked, and like if all the stuff that I'm telling you, go and look at it. I provided the links, but some of the stuff I didn't provide links for, you can go and look up. And so with that being said, it's like, do your due diligence. And so with that, just want to say, hey, grace and peace be to all of y'all. And FYI, I want to say to Captain 10K and DMG, I owe y'all a discussion. And so anytime between now and next week, if y'all want to set that discussion up, I'm cool with it. And so, but with that being said, I pray that you all enjoy the rest of your day. I pray that you enjoy your weekend, and please be safe and watch your six. Keep your eyes open, and peace.
Yeah. I know I got about 30 seconds to make y'all feel this before y'all turn it off these days. That I might not even release this. But I be doing this shit for me, help me get through. I feel like I give until I can't, but most don't recognize it till I ain't. Blood on them covers, she hoping paint. Sorry mama, but it ain't. This world took a toll on me, and everyone that say they love me always seem to follow me. The same one that call me great, treat me like I ain't shit. I read between the lines, it's written all over your eyes. I see the disappointment in the eyes of the ones who want me dead, but I ain't never been scared, I tried to get there. Sometimes I wonder if I survived, or did I die on that ride to that hospital. Demons all around me, I am not mental. This game of life, it is not simple. Last time I was happy, I was popping pills.